Audio.
A lot of the time, I think we just lack intentionality. And when you're forced to actually apply intention to your training, I think that's when things really change.
Hello, you wonderful crusher weekend warrior. How we doing? Making it all work? Where am I right now? Am I in your ears as you're doing dishes or your morning commute? Maybe you're exercising. Maybe you're at work pretending to work, but actually listening to this podcast. And to that, I salute you, my fellow very busy climber. This is our Weekend Warrior episode, and I love these episodes so much. I get to connect with just regular people who are getting after it in extraordinary ways. And today's guest is no exception. We've got Dusty Millar joining us from way across the globe, from where I'm currently sitting at least, down in Adelaide, Australia. He caught up with us quite early. Dusty, I really appreciate you getting going early so we can make this conversation work. This is my first interview with somebody in Australia, I believe, and I was psyched to do it, not just because Dusty's in Australia and that's interesting, but also because Dusty brings a very unique perspective to this Weekend Warrior series, and that is the perspective of a shift worker. So he works nights part of the month. He also works days part of the month. And then he does a 7 days on, 7 days off schedule. You'll hear him talk about that. But basically, he's got a pretty unique schedule that I think will be relatable to some who are listening, but also not at all relatable to others. Yet the concepts that Dusty shares with regard to what he has learned with his training and his climbing and his performance, and essentially putting these guardrails, if you will, on his training out of necessity, doing 7 days where he can get outside and climb on routes and projects, and then 7 days where all he has access to is like a typical gym facility, not a climbing gym. He's actually seen his health and his strength and his performance improve when he has worked within those confines. And how does that perhaps apply to us as we're trying to make it all work in our busy lives? We explore all of that in this conversation and more. And if there's a through line on this one, as you heard in that opening quote there, it's intentionality. The limit to what we can accomplish as weekend warriors, if we are intentional about how we are thinking and training and programming and climbing, is really without limit. We just have to bring that intention to what we're doing. And so I love this conversation, and I hope you do too. I'll tell you a little bit more about my climbing and how I'm intentionally getting after it on the backside of this one. But let's go ahead and just jump right in here with our first weekend warrior from down under, Dusty Millar. What time is it for you? 6 a.m.?
6 a.m., yeah.
Oh, bro, you're getting an early jump on things.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's pretty standard in the house, though. But
are you always up this early? What the hell?
Yeah, we're up. The missus is up at 6, going past 6 every day, and I'm up around about the same time, so.
Have you had your caffeine yet? How you feeling? Got it in hand.
Getting there.
Well, dude, thank you for making it work. You are on the other side of the golf ball. You are in Australia. What part of Australia?
South Australia, Adelaide.
Adelaide. Where is that in relation to Melbourne?
So we're just the next state over. So Melbourne is the lower east. We are just directly, we're the neighbor. So do you know where Arapiles is? That's in Victoria.
Yeah.
That's probably a 4.5 hour drive for us.
Oh, cool.
So just across the border.
Right on. My sister's family live in a town outside of Melbourne, and I'm blanking on the town's name because they just moved there, and I don't quite remember. We're going to visit them. We're going to visit them this summer. I'll be out in your neck of the woods. I mean,
dude, if you're going to come over, man, there's so much for you to do.
Oh, I'm psyched. We can talk a little bit about that in this conversation, because it'll be summer for us here. I'll be coming in July. So cooler temperatures for you all out that way, which should be good climbing.
Yeah, July will be good. It just might be a little wet, but you find the times between. And there's always crags, man. Like Araps is Upper Horsham, and then an hour's drive you got Grampians. So then there's always something dry in Grampians. if it's raining. So you'll find something to do, dude.
Yeah, we're definitely talking about going to the Grampians because we'll be doing some hiking, and I'll try to squeeze in some climb. I can't come all the way out there and not hop on some routes.
Yeah. I mean, like it's just beautiful anyway, man. Like it's, you're hiking up to Taipan, doing all of that, dude. It's just like, it's phenomenal. Like it's breathtaking, dude.
Cool, man. I'm hyped. Okay, good. Well, we'll dive into some of the local climbing here in this conversation. Yeah. Welcome to your Weekend Warrior chat.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for joining. I've been looking forward to this one because, I mean, everybody's got an interesting and unique story, but you've got maybe significantly unique story compared to most of the weekend warriors that I've talked to have been more traditional weekend warriors, 9-to-5ers, getting out on the weekend. And you've got a totally different schedule and lifestyle and also background that I'm just excited to unpack and dive into. Yeah, and I guess maybe we could start with some of the basics. We'll go through the demographic info here, and then we can just dive right in. So you go by Dusty, is that right?
Yeah, Dusty. Dude, over the years, I've just had these like tons of nicknames, but Dusty is like the standard. That's fine.
Okay. Do you prefer that I call you Dusty or Daniel?
Yeah, Dusty's fine.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Dusty's pretty rad. We'll stick with Dusty. How old are you, Dusty?
I'm turning 43 this year.
43, almost. Okay, it sounds like. Mm-hmm. And how many years have you been climbing, or when did you start climbing?
I started climbing when I was 18.
Okay.
Around about there. I took like some breaks in between when I was in the military, got into a little more sort of like alpinism stuff, but came back to climbing, mainly bouldering, and then the last sort of 6-7 years just been sport climbing.
Dig it. And let's touch on your background a little bit here. So you said you've been in the armed forces.
Yeah.
And then I think you were doing tattoos, is that right? And now you're doing something else. Yeah, talk me through like a little bit of the background, and then we'll talk about, because you also have a really unique and interesting job right now.
Yeah, so I was in the armed forces. I was a tattoo artist. I mean, I've been a tattoo artist for 16 years. I had my own shop for 10 years. Yeah, I was in the armed forces. I was in the Royal Marines, the commandos in the UK, and I married an Australian. I'm not from Australia. I'm from South Africa. So I married an Australian. She got tired of being in the UK, and we moved back here. So I started tattooing, closed the shop, and now I currently, at the moment, do underground mining. I drive big trucks underground.
Yeah. And talk to us about this schedule, because as I alluded to, your hours are a bit different than the typical kind of what's considered the weekend warrior. You're not really a weekend warrior. What is your work schedule like?
I do a 7-7 roster, so 7 days on, 7 days off. So that I fly out to the mine site, stay there for 7 days. It's 12-hour days for 7 days a week. And then when I come home, it's 7 days off. And it's a week of days, a week off, then a week of night shift, a week off.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So the mine runs 24 hours, and you're either doing 12-hour days or 12-hour nights. So you head out and others come in. And then when you're there, it's 7 days on in a row, as you said.
Yep.
And when you're not working, so for the 12 hours you're not working, what are you doing?
Oh, dude. Okay.
And are you underground, did you say?
Yeah, so I'm split. At the moment, I'm in the loader on the surface, but I also drive. I'm actually, like, my actual job is I drive big cement trucks underground.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I never thought I'd ever do something like that. I had a mate that worked there, and I was just like, I need something different, and that was it. I actually really enjoyed it. It's quite fun.
I feel like this is like a young boy's dream job. You're driving like big machines underground in mines, moving earth around.
Yeah, when you're a kid and you like get those Tonka trucks and you're like,
you're
just like, yeah, it's exactly that.
Exactly.
Sick. That. Yeah.
So interesting. God, what a vibe. I could do a whole podcast just because I'm sure the whole vibe, the community is probably just very unique. Of course, you were in the armed services, so I don't know. Maybe it's got a similar vibe as that.
It does. It's got a real similar vibe. I made a comment to that to my wife and a couple of people that I work with. The only difference is we don't have guns, but it's the same. It's the same thing. It's basically a very varied workplace. You have people. I work with people that were teachers, or were CEOs, or did some crazy other stuff as well. And everyone just kind of finds themselves in this. It's quite transient. You get a lot of people come and go. Well, it's super interesting. I mean, I'm also studying as well, which is the other thing. I'm eventually going to move off of this into what I am studying, so which is counseling.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Wow, you're just a freaking onion, Dusty. I wouldn't have said counseling. That would have been maybe the 15th thing I would have said. But the tattoo artist, military guy who drives a cement truck underground is also going into counseling.
I've also got one other thing. I teach yoga.
Yes, of course you do. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
See?
I'm very devoted yogi. More to my own practice at the moment, but I do teach a very small community of people. Yeah, that's kind of where I got into the idea of wanting to do counseling, because I don't know, man, I sort of hit 38, 39. I had a bit of I don't want to say a midlife crisis, but I sort of, I come to God moment where I was like, am I really utilizing my time correctly? Am I giving back constructively? And I sort of got to that sort of point where I was like, yeah, actually, I think counseling would be a good thing to get into, to give back. I was a bit of a wayward kid growing up, so I sort of want to focus on youth counseling.
How cool, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like it'll be incredibly rewarding work. And never judge a book by their cover, Dusty.
Dude.
We got sides on sides on sides for you here. All right, well, let me get us back on track, because we're going to unpack a bunch of this stuff as we dive in here. But okay, so we've covered your job and your very interesting schedule. So this is quite unique. So 7 days on, 7 days off. Now I do climb with some people who are in the medical profession, some nurses and doctors, and sometimes they'll do 3 days on, 4 days off, or 4 days on, 3 days off, that kind of thing. And so while your job may not be something that a lot of people listening right now can directly compare themselves to, having like a very focused time to work and then a time off where you either need to catch up on a bunch of life stuff or try and fit in your climbing and all of that, I think can be relatable. So that'll be interesting to unpack, but we'll go through a few of the other demographics here and then we'll start to unpack that. So in terms of climbing, you said predominantly sport climbing these days, although you've done a bit of everything, it sounds like. Let's talk grades for a second. So boulder grade, sport grade.
Bouldering, sort of my main focus at the moment is to sort of try and get into like the V9 range. I sort of sit at the V7, V8 range outdoors. Sport climbing, I never know the conversion, but I'll just do the Australian grade, which is 29. So
I've got a chart here because I knew that you and I were going to be talking, and I was like, I don't know. I know like the French grades to the Yosemite grade.
It's 7C plus.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So 13A, which is my personal top end, is 513A or 7C plus, which is Australian 29. And I will say this for the listener, that, there's all these different grading systems that are out there. The Australian grading system makes the most sense of all of them to me. It is literally just a number that gets bigger as the climbs get harder, and there's no letters, like we have like decimals on the YDS, and then the French grade, there's A's and B's and pluses and this, and like Australian, y'all are just like, no, it's just going to be like 12, 13, 14, 15, 30, 31, 32, 33. It's like, it just makes so much sense.
It does make sense, dude. But we have this constant issue, and I guarantee you it's like worldwide. You probably have this conversation, and all your listeners have this conversation, is within your groups of climbers, everyone talks about grades. And it does make sense, but I'm going to step in and say the French grading system with the nuance of the plus makes more sense. I think that things should be, cool, like 27. But we have this argument all the time. It's like, okay, cool. Within the grade of 27, you have so many nuances.
Yeah, easy 27, solid 27, hard 27. Yeah.
It should just be 27, 27 plus, or 27 minus.
All right. So there's even beef within that. So instead of going from 12 to 38, which is what my chart shows right now, which would be like a 5.4 or a 4A on French, up to 38 is listed as 515C or 9B plus. Maybe it should go from 12 to 60 or to 70 or something. You're just more nuance within the difficulty levels.
Yeah, I mean, the simpler the better. You're right, but a little bit of nuance would be good sometimes.
All right. Well, anyway, we do a whole conversation on the insanity of grades, but congratulations. I mean, you're a super strong climber, and I'm excited to understand what your goals will be, but let's wrap up the basics. So What about family? It sounds like you're married.
Yeah, married, 17 years.
Nice.
No kids. 2 French bulldogs, 2 cats. That's our full-time kids. They are very needy, those French bulldogs, but
totally.
Yeah, dude. Perpetual 2-year-olds, but they're really cute.
And then in terms of your work, you said you fly in, fly out. Is that right? So is that, are there additional travel days, or is that part of the 7 days that you're away?
No, that's part of the 7 days. So if you're going out for a day shift, you will fly out the night before. Mm-hmm. Still work the next day. If you fly out on night shift, you fly out on the Wednesday and you start work straight away. So the first day is always a 24-hour day.
Oh, God.
Oh, dude. And then the last day is a 24-hour day because you finish a 12-hour shift and then you fly home. So,
dude, well, it's so intense.
Night shift, it's brutal. The bonus is that the mine is quite quiet. So there's less traffic underground. There's less traffic up top. The quotas are slightly less. So it's not as demanding, but it's pretty demanding in terms of physicality.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because there are people who are listening right now who are shift workers, and there are people, as I've already noted, people that I climb with and know who will work nights at the hospital or something like that. But in many cases, unless they're just like picking up a random shift, their kind of schedule is shift work, but yours varies. It like oscillates between day and night, and then also time off, which I'm assuming when you're home, you're just getting back on like a normal human, daytime hours. So is it 1 week a month then you're doing nights? Is that how it works out?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, 1 week a month of nights, 1 week of days a month.
And then the 2 weeks off. Okay, cool. Well, let's talk about, we kind of explore things when you're at the job site as well as when you're home, but just through kind of the lens of being a climber. Weekend warrior will be a term that we use loosely in this conversation here because you're kind of like a week off warrior. But
a bit of a weird one.
What are how do you structure your climbing days that are outside, gym days, training days, and is all of that happening when you're home, on the 7 days off when you're home, or are you able to incorporate some things, in the 12 hours that you have off during your work shifts?
Oh, okay. So when I'm at work, unfortunately we have amazing facilities there, but no climbing facilities whatsoever. So it's a lot of, I sort of oscillate. My standard day is I'll wake up, do 45 minutes of yoga and meditation, and then I'll go straight from there. I'll go to the gym, and my week is kind of structured where I'll do a push-pull routine, roughly 5 to 6 days on with a day off at the end and maybe a rest day in the middle, which is, it's normally got a little bit of cardio, a push-pull, which is mainly just calisthenics, and then a fingerboard. So I sort of like structure my fingerboard. So it'll be like first day on. So like, let's say it's a night shift, I'll go to the gym before I go to work. The next day will just be fingerboard. Then it will be a gym session, a rest day, gym session, fingerboard, rest day, fly home, climb straight off the plane, rest the next day.
God, it just seems so relentless, but you find a way to make it work. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, I've actually, I think every climber has this kind of fear of like, oh, what happens if climbing is taken away from me, right? We all have this sort of innate kind of attachment to the thing we love doing so much. But I just kind of looked at it and went, you know what? I'm going to try something completely different here and see how this is going to work out, and just attack it from a different angle and look at it like, because when we're home, and I don't know if you experience this as well, but when we're home, I'm really good at finding time to climb. I'm really bad at finding time to do all the accessory work, on all the standard strength training and the auxiliary work and the flexibility work. And having that delineated time where I cannot climb for 7 days and I have to do that stuff has actually made me much stronger and much more well-rounded as a functioning human being. But it's also made my climbing much better, even though I've done less climbing.
That is very interesting. And when you say it like that, it does resonate with me, because I've found that the busier I've gotten, like when I had kids and I had a job and then started this podcast. So I've got a full-time job, but also I do this podcast, which takes up quite a bit of time. So I have less of the disposable time to just go to the gym or get outside as much as I'd like for hours at a stretch. And yet my climbing has just been progressing at a far faster pace than it was 10 years ago when I had a ton of time, because I think I wasn't as disciplined or structured on just kind of like fitting in these things that were less exciting to me at the time, but now are quite exciting to me. If I can get like a 30-minute strength training session in between conference calls or picking my kids up from school, then I do, because A, that's all the time that I have, and B, it's actually going to be contributing to my climbing in a way that's probably more potent than if I just went and got some like kind of random lazy climbing session in. So yeah, when you put it like that, that makes sense.
It's pure intentionality, I think. I think, like getting that junk mileage in is great, and it makes you feel great, and it's that dopamine hit. But a lot of the time, I think we just lack intentionality. And when you're forced to, whether it's kids or jobs or whatever it is, when you're forced to actually apply intention to your training, I think that's when things really change.
Yeah, I like that. And I kind of glanced past one of the more general, but I think very interesting questions that I like to explore with Weekend Warriors, which is, why do you climb? And especially with you, Dusty, with having such what sounds to be like pretty exciting and very interesting background of work, and I'm sure other activities that you've done as well. What is it about climbing that's sucked you in so much?
Dude, it's a question I actually ask constantly, right? And I'll ask you a question as well. And for me, I really dislike labels, but later on in life, I think when I was in my mid-30s, I was interested as to why I am the way I am. So I got a bunch of psychological tests, and it turns out, as a kid, I probably had ADHD. Medicated for it, I just know how to sort of curate my environment so that, less stimulation, less input, But that sort of hyper-focus aspect is something that climbing has perpetually, you can pick things up and get good at them and put them down because you get bored, but climbing it's a perpetual evolution. There's never end, there's no stopping, and there's always something to fulfill, to reach towards, so it's I think for me it's just something that is, it's not even a challenge, it's just it's just a way of being. It's not like we're all just chasing grades. I think when you're young you do a little bit, but it is nice, don't get me wrong, it's nice to tick a new grade or to get a couple climbs under the belt, but yeah I think a lot of it's also just community, man. All my friends are climbers, 99% of them, So, it all just becomes about climbing. It's not really a sport. And there's an interesting thing. Hey, it's like people go, oh, yeah, climbing's a sport. And you kind of go, well, I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is a sport. If it's just, if you look at the life is, it's not really a sport. It's just a thing that happens in your life. Do you remember the thing that set you off down the track to actually start climbing?
I do. I mean, it was a very clear kind of inflection point. It's interesting. I was living in Los Angeles at the time. I was an actor, but I had also started a business with some friends, a snack food company, and we were working on that like crazy because it was startup life, and we had raised some money to do it. It was a very real thing that came with a lot of very real stress, and brought me a lot of joy and a lot of interest, because acting, you're just kind of at the whims of waiting for the phone to ring. And this was a business like we created. And so we're like, we could just pour ourselves into it. And at the time I was just a member at like a gym, like a normal gym with weights and treadmills and that kind of thing. And so I would go and exercise. And I just found myself that like, there was no escape from the ruminating mind, in that if I was on a treadmill or I was lifting weights on a machine or whatever, I was thinking about the emails I had to send or a spreadsheet that I needed to figure out the financials for or whatever. And so there was a physical outlet, but there was no mental outlet. And one day I was going to the gym, and neighboring my normal gym was a rock climbing gym. And I just found myself being pulled towards those doors. And so instead of walking into my gym, I kind of just veered right and walked into the rock climbing gym. and got a day pass. And it was like the first time in months where my mind took a rest, because I was fully engaged and scared and just out of kind of the necessity of, or just kind of the byproduct of being, new to climbing. I was so fully focused in the moment that it was almost like a meditation. And so I left that session feeling like humbled by how bad I was as a climber, but also really refreshed, like mentally. And so I got sucked into climbing first because of the mental relief and engagement that it brought me. And then later, when I started climbing outdoors, I was just like, then I fully fell in love with connecting with nature in that new way, and having, the movement over rock and the dance of it and all that. And then came the community, to your point. And so, yeah, layer upon layer of kind of beautiful aspect of climbing that sucked me in. But at first it was just something that brought me relief in my mind that like a normal workout couldn't.
Oh, I completely agree with you, man. Moving meditation, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's one of the only times outside of actually just, like concentrated meditation where you're completely engaged. Like this, you're not thinking about anything else other than just, and if you hit flow state, that's just it. That's just you're gone. And that is like one of the most beautiful things to experience. And it's really hard to sort of relate that to someone. And I think that, like you say, I think that, one of the big reasons why gym climbing has gotten so popular is I would say potentially that is exactly that. It's the ability to access that attentiveness, that in the moment state, where I think in our society we're so driven by distraction. And it's been such a boom in the industry, which is great. More climbers, the merrier.
All right, y'all. Just want to take a quick second here to tell you how I'm staying healthy and taking care of myself, as I'm now pushing my body to the hardest limits I've ever pushed it as a rock climber. And the way that I'm fueling these gains that I'm working so hard to get is with PhysiVantage Nutrition. Y'all know PhysiVantage. They've been a sponsor of the show since the very first episode, and I've been a paying customer of PhysiVantage since long before there was ever a podcast. And why is that, Ryan? Why am I buying PhysiVantage products? Well, it's because they work. They're designed by climbers for climbers to help us climb our best. Every single day, I'm taking their supercharged collagen before I do like a little light fingerboard workout, like the Abrahangs that I've talked about here on this show, or before I go climbing or go to the gym. And I'm also fueling up either before or after a workout with one of their protein powders. It's like my sweet treat that I have. And the most important thing, as I mentioned, is that it works. Most coaches and doctors and dietitians are going to tell you that you should probably take in about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight every single day if you're an athlete and you're trying to fuel your gains. So for me, 155 grams of protein is a lot of protein in a day. And I love a whole foods diet, but I have to supplement in order to hit that goal. And I do it by using PhysiVantage. Hit that link right there in your show notes and you'll get 15% off pretty much everything over at the PhysiVantage store, or use code STRUGGLE15 at checkout to get that discount, and let's get after it. Hey, it's Ryan. I just wanted to let you know that I'm offering a free pro clinic with Dr. Tyler Nelson, answering your most common and misunderstood finger training questions. It's normally $10 for those pro clinics if you're not a Patreon member, but I'm offering it for free right now just for joining my email list. It's just, a couple emails a month, just letting you know what I am up to. And in return, I'm going to hook you up with this private finger training clinic with Dr. Tyler Nelson, where he talks about which grip type is the best to train, how to rotate finger training methodologies for optimal results, what's the ideal percentage of max for safe and effective finger training, and how finger strength fits into smarter, safer training overall. It's like a 90-minute pro clinic, and you can get it for free by swinging over to thestruggleclimbingshow.com/strong. That's thestruggleclimbingshow.com/strong. Enter your email, and then you will get that pro clinic for free. Okay, let's get back to the show. You have been practicing yoga for quite a bit of time, which is also, a lifestyle, more so than just, some sort of thing that we do for physical advantages. And I'm curious because I've done, the odd yoga class or something here and there, but I haven't practiced it as a yogi as you would, where it's, kind of mind, body, spirit, and the connection therein. And what crossovers have you found there to be between the yoga practice and climbing?
Oh, I mean, the physical practice of asana is obviously beneficial to every human being. You should be trying to do something like that in some delineation, just moving your body in that way. It's just healthy, straight up. Now, if you can pair that, you start to dig deeper, you start to pair asana with pranayama, so breath work, then you start to really access like the true potential of yoga. And then once you sort of do that, you can, it's all about, I don't know if you know much about yoga or traditional yoga.
No, not much.
No, so like traditional yoga, we sort of see the body as not just the meat suit, right? It's like this delineate, it's like this vibrational being that vibrates out in different layers. And it's all about connecting those layers because we get disconnected. We get stuck in the illusion of the physical body and the physical world. And it's all like it's all just about like sort of permeation through the layers and reconnection of every layer. And that's just all done through, breath work, asana, meditation, concentration practices. So, but yeah, like they're all kind of interlinked with climbing, being able to access a meditative state, being able to know what sets, how your mental state feels, and how you work around that mental state in the current moment. That's all just kind of in practice. It's just a different form of the same thing.
That's an area that I'd like to explore more myself, especially as I'm getting a little bit older. I could use the physical benefits of yoga as well as I've had these phases of life, these chapters where I've been very deeply committed to a mindfulness practice and taking classes and, Vipassana and insight meditation and these kinds of things that have brought me like incredible amounts of benefit to my life, especially when I became a father. And then I've gotten a little bit away from it because I got super busy and I've started this podcast. And I feel like yoga maybe could be an opportunity to bring some of the mindfulness practice back into my life, as well as some physical benefits that could translate to climbing. Because right now I'm so psyched on climbing. I'm always just kind of looking at things through a lens of like, could this benefit my climbing?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, I'll give you an idea, like my actual practice. So I started teaching yoga in the vinyasa style, which as I got more and more into yoga, I realized that vinyasa is not particularly good for you from a traditional standpoint because it's the heated room can actually set people's pitta off. It all comes down to Ayurveda. So my practice is actually very different to what you would really think about as a yoga practice. Whereas in traditional yoga, if you're a yogi, the ultimate goal is meditation. That's the only reason why we do asana is so you can sit down for a long time and just chill. Right. So my actual yoga practice is mainly meditation. Yeah, it's a little bit of asana. It's like a more yin style practice. So like long holds, fewer shapes, and then really just half an hour to 45 minutes of meditation.
And you say you start your day when you're on the job site, you start a couple days a week with that practice?
Every day.
Oh, every day. Okay.
Yeah. So I literally roll out of my bed, I have a big glass of water and lie on the floor, do yoga, meditate. Then I go to the gym. If it's night shift, I'll go straight to the gym, do an hour and a half, and then I go dinner and go straight to the site. And then I finish breakfast, go straight to bed.
So let's talk about your time when you're home.
Yeah.
And you've got your 7 days. You say you basically get off the plane, you got a gym session that you get in right away. And then are you able to get outside year round in your neck of the woods?
Yeah. So right now we're at the tail end of summer. So summer in Adelaide it's kind of like training season. It's too hot, really. So like peak summer seasons are all shifting now. So right now we've just kind of gone through a period of the high 40s, mid to high 40s. That's Celsius.
Yeah, that's hot. What is that?
So nothing really happens outdoors.
90 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just hunker down. We board twice a week. We got a social board group that does board and dinner at a friend's place every Thursday. And then, we just train in the gyms.
You got a good crew out there. Board and dinner hangout?
Oh, dude. Yeah. I actually board with 2 different crews.
That's great. I love that. Board and dinner. Oh man.
Yeah. That's every Thursday, man. We do like a big, and we'll bring, like a couple of us bring dessert, and then my mate will put dinner on, and we just do like a 2-3 hour session on the home board, and then big dinner.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so good. Okay, so then, but then when it's a better season, when you're on kind of the shoulder seasons, spring, fall,
Yeah.
or winter, when it's better to get outside,
Yeah.
during those 7 days, what does that look like for you? How often are you trying to get out?
If it's Pride, dude, I'll try and get out every day.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and normally, so like Sunday is always just traditionally my like proper, if I'm going out to go and try my project, let's say, right? It's because I still tattoo. So I tattoo maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
But on those days, I'll probably climb outdoors either before or after I tattoo. And then on a Sunday and a Monday, it's normally my like actual proper project days if I want to get out and try something real hard. So I sort of have a Saturday is normally like just a day, like a rest and recover day.
Yeah, you can go pretty hard because then you're going to have 7 days where you're
100%. Yeah, my last day before, it doesn't matter if it's day shift or if it's night shift, that I go to the gym and I leave that gym ragged.
tear the skin up because it's going to regrow and yeah.
100%. Yeah, dude.
That's great. Well, let's talk about your goals and your projecting because you're climbing really hard as a weekend warrior here. And do you have aspirations for certain grades or certain routes that you've got your mindset on? And then I'm curious to understand your process on how you are working to progress as a climber.
Now, all the interesting stuff I actually want to climb now is out in the Grampians. Just try and consolidate, man. Keep trying to get those more 29s, start pushing towards 30. Bouldering, push towards B9.
So yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. I'm curious what you've used to structure your training or your climbing. I think you noted that you've worked with some coaches, used apps and that kind of thing. What's worked for you?
I'm like what I like to term as a blue collar climber. I just turn up and clock in. I'm not a talented onsider. I'm in no way ultra strong, but I can suffer, and I can suffer until I get the job done. And that is probably my greatest strength. And that's also my greatest strength in training as well. It's just the ability to put the blinkers on and go, okay, cool. Let's just get it done,
Yes.
So I like to get a little bit of in-person coaching because it just lets me not think, and I'm just told what to do and I just do it. That's fine. In terms of like online stuff, I've used Lattice over the years. I really like Lattice. If you just want a metric-based system, it's really, really good. If you love the numbers. Mm-hmm. But the most gains I've had was dealing with Neil Gresham. I've had a couple of programs from him, and it's by far the most structured, most like insane training programs you get are from Neil, and he's just an absolute weapon and a legend as well. So
yeah, I mean, total legend. In fact, I recently interviewed Tim Emmett, who's at 51 climbed his hardest route of his life.
I know, that dude. Tim's such a beast as well, bro.
Yeah, I mean, absolute legend. So psyched. Nobody's more psyched than Tim. And working with Neil, he, was one of the things he attributed to helping him break through on that project. I think Neil put together a very thoughtful, a very specific training plan for Tim. And I didn't even know that Neil was, kind of like creating these programs, but it sounds like he's done a couple for you. And I'd love to hear a little bit about what you feel set his coaching plan apart.
I'll be honest, first thing is you deal directly with Neil. And and for like the level climber that he is and for how long he's been in the industry, I think that in itself is like, it's pretty crazy. Right, like he's answering his emails directly to you. You're talking direct. And I was just like, oh, okay. That was my first thing. I was like, this is a guy that's definitely invested in coaching, in climbing. So, and then just the actual programs, dude. Like I think the program I got recently was like 60 pages long.
Oh God,
it's like legit, and it's like here's everything, right? And it gives you like the full breakdown, and it's all individually tailored to exactly what you want. And if you can't do the session in its entirety, there are breakdowns. It's like, and so there's you never feel like, oh, it's just too hard, I can't do it. It's like, oh, today I don't feel that pumped, I feel super tired, so I'm just going to do option C. You're still doing the thing. Yeah, it's just phenomenal, man. Like his level of detail is just crazy.
Well, give us a taste of what that looks like for your goals. Are you focused more on building boulder strength or route climbing fitness? And so I guess either or both, what does a Neil Gresham training day look like?
Oh, God, dude, it's pretty hectic. So like he does it in phases, right? So like I'm at the tail end of like a 16-week phase. But it's pretty big. Like you do like 2 solid weeks of strength, 3 solid weeks of like power endurance, a bit of a break, like, and you go into like strength again, conditioning, long-term endurance, and then you sort of taper off. But yeah, it's actually super achievable as well. Like you'd have like the way he structured mine is, so it's like, so it'll be 2 weeks of everything. Some of them are 3 weeks, but let's just say it'll be like Monday is a non-climbing day. So it'll be all Antagonist and gym work. And then it's like Tuesday is this. If you can't climb, it's this. And it just rolls through. So I can do that entire workout on site at a gym with a fingerboard. And when I get home, I can do this same workout with a bit of stimulus at the gym climbing.
Yeah, so it just takes the guesswork out of it. I mean, essentially every day you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's some like real benefit to that I think for weekend warriors is the decision fatigue is a real thing. And if we have to put too much thought into what we're going to do on any given day, sometimes it can just be paralyzing.
100%, dude. Like just having it written down and being like, yeah, cool. That's exactly what I'm doing today. Yeah. Decision fatigue is, like you said, it's a real thing, man.
You noted that one of your superpowers here is that you can just kind of go into that pain cave and do the work. And based on what Tim shared with me about the plan that Neil wrote him, and it sounds like with you, is that they can be pretty intense. They can be pretty brutal, but so can climbing. And so we're trying to prepare our bodies to have the capacity and the resilience to then be able to go out and perform over and over again on a project. But on the physical and or kind of mental side of like really getting into that pain cave and doing the work, what works for you? You know, how do you deal with that? If you're just tired, you're not feeling like it, or you start a thing and it's just like energy's feeling low, or you want to call quits, what keeps you going?
You know, I think as I've gotten older, I've just realized that I listen to myself a lot better. So if I rock up, let's just say to the gym or to the climbing gym, you know, like I just tailor my expectations of myself according to the day. Like, you know, there's always that moment where you're like, oh, you go to the gym and you get shut down on something that you should really be able to do quite well. But then you're also like, yeah, dude, but you also just come off night shift.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, just don't worry about it. Just have fun. And then you just kind of like, you just got to tell yourself, you know, like sometimes having the pain cave mentality is good. It's great on projects. It's not that good sometimes on training, because training is not really the real thing. Like you've got to be a little bit loving and kind to yourself, and you've got to be a little bit, you know, forgiving. I think we're not professional athletes. We're not pro climbers. So there's no necessity to ever send. That's just an expectation we have of ourselves. So I think, you know, you just got to always try and remember that. And also just remember the joy. Remember why you started climbing. You know, it's super easy to just get sucked into the numbers game and just to get sucked into like the whole like spiral of, I've been projecting something for like 2 years and I haven't sent it. And it's super easy to just forget, like, damn, we get to do this thing every weekend. That's so sick.
Hell yeah. It really is too. It is so sick when you get to look at it that way. So how do you structure your outdoor days then, kind of taking that into account? Are you trying to balance projecting days with fun days, or, you know, side quest type days, get a bunch of moderate volume in? How much of your outdoor climbing is specifically focused on performance versus just like getting out and having a good time?
That's a really good question. Luckily, dude, like the crew I run with are pretty fun. So it doesn't really matter if we're projecting or if we're just doing junk mileage. It's always a good time.
That's good.
But yeah, like, you know, I think as you sort of chew through the lower stuff, inevitably you sort of start to whittle down your pool of things to do and things to aim for. So, you know, like we always just try and get out. And, you know, it's never really junk mileage. We always have an intention behind going out. There's always something, you know, oh, cool, what's the next thing we can do or try and jump on that. And then if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, we'll come back for it.
Is there a current project in the crosshairs?
So there's a couple, and they're just all very different. There's one, it's a classic here. It just doesn't get done. It's only had 3 or 4 repeats in like 20 years. And it's basically just a V8 boulder problem on a rope. Yeah, you'd probably love it, dude. It's super weird.
That's my current bread and butter right now is just trying to find boulder problems on ropes.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's super, super, super weird. But so yeah, just doing that. I'm super close on it, man. I've only had like a session or 2 on it, so that's
sick.
fine. Yeah, there's a couple other classics around that I'm sort of sinking my teeth in. I'm really just focusing on. We're going to Thailand in a week and a half.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Climb trip specific?
Yeah.
Wow. Have you climbed in Thailand?
No, we've got a group, a very good couple of ours, my wife and I. We do a trip with them every year. Mm-hmm. And we've been to Waterfall Bourvin. I don't know if you know where that is.
No.
So we went to Bourvin for the last 2 years running. Bourvin it's like the Rocklands of sport climbing for in South Africa.
Cool. Heck yeah. That sounds awesome.
It's just, dude, the most beautiful red. It's like that Grampians red rock.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's phenomenal, man. It's bomber, just red quartzite. And it's just,
That sounds amazing. Is it near Rocklands?
Nah. So Rocklands is like 3 hours north of Cape Town.
Yeah.
And it's 2.5 hours east of Johannesburg.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Different.
Dude, it is just phenomenal. I think we were there last time we went for a week, and I did 65 routes in a week.
Holy shit.
You're literally just back to back, and dude. It's like the endless crags.
That sounds so cool. But Thailand is coming up here in a couple of weeks. So I've had some friends who have climbed out there. It looks amazing. It looks like you can just like climb and then lower onto the beach and grab a drink. Yeah. It's pretty rad. As you're kind of preparing for that trip, what are the goals?
When I do overseas trips, especially the first time I go somewhere, dude, I have no goals. It's just literally like plan, have fun. If something catches my eye where I'm like, because I'm there for 2 weeks. So if something catches my eye and I'm like, that's sick. And I'll put the time into it for sure, dude. But it's mainly just like, get out, just do as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Sample the local flavors.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, have a blast with that. That sounds fantastic. And then you'll be back and, kind of back into the normal routine. And I'm curious, just understanding your schedule here, what aspects of either your lifestyle or specifically your climbing training and planning seem to have the most outsized benefits?
I mean, diet is always a huge one. I think just being mindful of what you put in your body is always a massive thing.
Do you eat well when you're on the job? Like, what's it like?
Oh, dude. So that's the one thing about that job that we are blessed. It is fully catered, and it is anything. You could go there and eat like a pig.
That's dangerous though. That's like when I used to work on like TV shows and movies and that kind of thing. Like they just always brought in incredible catering, which is great. But then it's like there's a whole table of cheesecakes.
It's exactly the same. Yeah. But on the flip side of that, you can also eat like a professional athlete.
Right.
You just got to have the willpower.
Yeah, you got to be.
So that's the beauty of it, man. Like you as an athlete, it's like a wet dream, dude. Everything you could ever want.
Do you have a specific diet that you adhere to?
Not really. I was keto for a long time. I was vegan for a long time as well.
Went from vegan to keto. That's like swinging the pendulum the exact opposite.
Nah, I'm a teetotaler, so I don't drink. I haven't drunk in like 13 years. I sort of got into that by going like hardcore straight edge. And then when I was like hardcore straight edge, you're hardcore vegan as well.
Right.
And it's just, I think when you're young, you look for labels to identify with, to be part of a community. It's that sort of herd mentality. And as you get older, you're kind of like, I am my own human being. I don't really need 20 other people to tell me it's okay to be me. But we just try and eat very mindfully. It's more of a Mediterranean style diet, a lot of fresh fruit, a lot of fresh vegetables, locally sourced meat if we are going to eat meat. just try and be mindful of the impact we make.
And then in terms of the training that you do, whether it's off the wall training like you're doing when you're away at the job, or you're climbing, board training, anything that you're doing outdoors, what have you found seems to work the best for you? If you just kind of had to pluck the couple things that you could do, aside from getting out on real rock, which I'm going to assume is probably the first choice that you would make. But beyond that, what do you respond the best to?
I definitely these days never do back-to-back power or back-to-back endurance. So I'll do a day of endurance, a day of power, a rest day. I just find I function heaps better, and I can actually go and give meaningful attempts. I can have a full endurance day and be smoked endurance-wise, but I can still pump it out power-wise the next day. Can't do back-to-back endurance or like really, really long endurance, and I can't do back-to-back power. So I just stagger them. And that seems to work really well because it's two different energy systems. So,
right. But
yeah, dude, definitely that sort of like endurance fingerboarding. It's so boring, bro.
Oh, I already love it though. You're speaking my language. I love boring.
So boring. But I just put the iPad there or the phone there, dude. I put like, I don't know, the latest Adam Ondra video or like repeats of the IFSC. And I just like.
Yes. What's the protocol that you're doing? Just repeaters?
Yeah, repeaters. But Neil's, you should try them. They're really good. It's like tendon hypertrophy. So it's like 25 to 30 seconds on.
Oh, long.
Yeah. So 25 to 30 seconds on, just like the two grips she's got me is like drag and half grip.
Right.
But yeah, like 5 sets, 25 seconds on, like a minute and a half off.
Okay.
For each. So 5 sets of over and 5 sets of crimp as well.
Wow. Like really long duration hangs. And so, I mean, I don't even know if I could hang an edge for 25 seconds at body weight right now. Maybe, I'm not sure. It'd probably have to be like a deeper edge, but essentially you're are you going like to near failure on that? If you're doing 25 seconds, like, are you just about shaking off of that thing at the end?
Yeah.
Got it.
You kind of don't want to be failing, but you want to be just knocking on the door. But yeah, really good, dude. Like I found like my tendons, my fingers, and obviously the meal protocols are standard as well every day. But that sort of protocol, dude, it's just been like phenomenal for like tendon hypertrophy and thickening up the tendons.
You'll do that how many days a week?
Like every alternate day. So like day on, day off, day on, day off.
Wow. And that's what you're doing. You'll do that when you're at work.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. And like when I'm at home, maybe I'll do the meal protocol and I'll do like a max hang sesh when I'm at home, maybe just once a week. But, like I try and board 2 to 3 times a week. So that's essentially just fingerboarding anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're board climbing a couple days a week, especially if it's really hot out, you're in your summer season, those are going to be your power days, I'm assuming. Or are you also doing endurance climbing on a board?
Nah. I've tried the endurance stuff on the kilter. I don't know. Those people are animals.
You just gotta take the angle up. It's all about the angle, I feel like.
Oh man, it's heinous. I love the kilter board though. But yeah. No, I just try and do like big power days on boards. The board we have at my mate's place, we do have set 100 movers. So we do like a 100 move problem. It's like our standard endurance build up for the season. You just do laps on a 100 mover.
100 moves is a lot of moves.
Yeah.
On a board, especially on a board. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, it's a big board.
Right on. And then if you're not able to get outside, is there a gym that's got like lead routes and caves for climbing, or are you just doing something else for endurance?
No, unfortunately, Adelaide, only real rope gym, dude, is like, it's pretty old school. It's like grandfathered in. So that means I can't really change anything because it doesn't really meet modern standard.
Right.
And it's also miles away from my house, man. So if we want to do endurance, we just go to, there's a couple of like local crags that are like what we term as like gym crags. So they're like all permit, like they're pretty much accessible 24 hours. No, I'm not 24 hours a day, but that's 365 days a year, unless there's like a fire band day. So we just go, if I really want to go endurance, we just like, we'll go to Northern Summit and just bang out laps on the classics, But if I have to go to the gym, I just do 4x4s or do a lot of I'll do like a 3 minutes on and then do a boulder problem,
It's so great that you have access to so much variety of outdoor climbing. What's the drive time? Like, what kind of radius are we looking at?
Nah, dude, we are like spoiled, like stupidly spoiled, right? So from my house, I live like 30 Ks up the road from the main city. Mm-hmm. So I live like, I can see, like, if I look out my front window, dude, I can just see pastures and cows. So we're pretty blessed with like where we live, because the commute's not bad. But around the corner from my house, literally 5 minutes up the road, is like a classic boulder, outdoor boulder. And then if you go into the city, all the crags, dude, are like max 30 minutes drive.
Oh man.
Like the longest drive
incredible
is a crag called Secrets, which is just under an hour from my house down south. But my standard home crag is 35 minutes from my house.
Oh, amazing. So amazing, dude. Yeah, you are spoiled. Good for you.
Dude, I know.
That's great.
And we've got a lot of variation here as well, dude. Like, we've got a lot of boulders, a lot of good sport climbing, a lot of trad climbing as well. So if you get bored with one, you can always hop them together.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I'm so hyped to get out there.
Coming out your side as well in September, October, going to Yosemite, going to Red Rocks in Yosemite. So I'll be really sick.
That's fantastic. Have you already, do you already have some things identified?
Definitely. In Red Rocks, I just want to do Levitation 29.
Yeah. Classic.
That's the classic. Everything else is just a gift. Yosemite, bro. Don't know. We'll jug for food. I don't really care what I get on. I'm just keen, dude. Just keen to get out there, man.
Oh man, I'm really excited for you. What a great trip.
Dude.
You can't.
On top, it'll be fun. It's all just ticking over, man. How are you going with your road to V8? You on your way?
Yeah, I'm on my way. I was actually just out in Red Rock a couple weeks ago, and I took a weird fall off of a boulder and hurt my back, and so it kind of cut the trip short and has kind of messed with my head a little bit. The back will get better. I've got a herniated disc from playing hockey when I was younger, and so it flares up from time to time. It's just something that I deal with, and it's 2 weeks in now, and I'm almost fully recovered from it. But
nice. I'm
like having these thoughts in my head where I'm like, am I too old for bouldering? And so we'll see. You know, it's this bouldering side quest that I've taken has benefited my sport climbing in incredible ways, many unforeseen ways. Like, it helped my endurance because just every move felt easier, so I wasn't having to tap into that system as much. And so it's definitely been a very worthwhile side quest. The question will be, you know, how hard do I continue to go at outdoor bouldering? But I'm not ready to throw in the towel yet. I think making steady enough progress on this V8 that's down the road from me called Bulldog that I'm going to keep going on it. And then I'm also going to start feathering in some sport climbing as the spring temperatures get a little bit better here in Kentucky. Yeah. And I think the rock type, the geology is very similar to, I think, the Grampians, or I'm not quite sure because I might be conflating different areas. My sister's family lived in Wentworth Falls for a while in the Blue Mountains, and a lot of the hikes they took looked like a lot of like the hikes that we take here in Kentucky.
Oh, nice. Just nuts, yeah.
The age of the rock and the sandstone and the way that it's kind of steeply eroded in the caves and stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited to get out there and try some of that out. And yeah, I'm trying to keep an open mind. I am, you know, at 46, like I do have to be a little bit mindful of potential injuries or just keeping my body robust to keep performing in the sport that I love so much. You're a few years younger than me, but you know, you're in your 40s. And so that is something that I guess maybe will kind of more and more come into play as we go. You seem like you're in incredible shape, and obviously you're continuing to push your top end, but is there anything that you specifically think about as now in your 40s, or that you need to do in terms of prehab or work that you do when you're not climbing in order to stay resilient?
Yeah, dude. Sport climbing is medicine for my body. Right. I'm not bouldering, but dude, my body does not like bouldering. Does not like long-term bouldering. I just get really bad sinusitis. I'm a bigger climber, dude. I mean, I'm 6'1", I'm like 87 kgs. I get really bad sinusitis. I start to get, if I just boulder, dude, at top end for like a long time, I just start to get niggles. So it's I like to pepper it in. Definitely like to go like, oh yeah, cool. This, you know, for the next 3 months, I'm just gonna like hone in on bouldering. But the minute I start to get niggles, and it's particularly like shoulder niggles, because I've had a recon over the years, and you know, it's just like, oh, okay, cool. It's time to just go back on the road for a bit. Yeah. And yeah, it's just a lot of prehab. It's all the unsexy stuff, man. And that's what nice about doing the week on, week off is that, like I have nothing else to do. So I have to do all the unsexy stuff. I have to do all the weight training and all the antagonist work. And that has definitely like just made me feel stronger as a climber. I think climbers are incredibly strong, but also incredibly fragile if you don't put in the extra work. You can like, I've got mates who climb really, really, really hard, but then like have hip problems because they don't squat or they don't, they have other niggles, like and can crank, but can't life.
Right. Very highly specialized for certain movements, and then anything else is like
that's it, dude.
Right.
Pick up my kid. Nah, can't do that today. Sorry.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I'm trying to think about in my life here how I can artificially impose a 7-day on, 7-day off routine, because there's just something so clear about those guardrails. It's like, okay, these 7 days, I'm going to do all the unsexy stuff that's going to make my body prepared and resilient and have the capacity to then do 7 days of just getting out on rock and, going after it.
Dude, I mean, try it. Like, just do a self-imposed block of like, I don't know, like do like 3 months, right? So like it's only what, like six blocks.
Right.
Just try it. Like whatever your training season is. And then just, speak to, whoever you want to help out, like Neil or someone or Eric and just cater it. I don't know. Like the stimulation change did wonders for me, even though I was like, that attachment of like, oh my God, I can't climb every day. I can't get access to a gym. I think it's good.
Yeah. It's super fascinating.
Okay. And then yes, when you have your 7 days on, you're just so stoked, bro. You are just like firing at the reins and you're like, let me at it. I just want to get outside. Just want to
totally. Yeah, just like frothing to get out on rock.
Dude.
You've been on a hangboard for a week. You're like, let me go get on something.
It's so good. It doesn't matter what you climb because you're just like, yes, I'm touching rock.
Right. Yeah. Just like a choss pile that's like coated 100%. In condensation. You're like, whatever. It's good.
It'd just be a pure choss and you're like, man, this is the best thing ever.
I love it, man. Well, dude, this has just been such a pleasure. I've loved seeing just a different side of the sport and also speaking with somebody that's got such an interesting background as yourself.
Yeah, bro.
I really appreciate you sharing.
Appreciate it. And I love the podcast, bro. So like, just keep cranking at it. And yeah, dude, like always listening, always watching, always catching up, man.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I'll shoot you a message too, an email as I start to figure out this Australia trip. If you have any recommendations for me,
100%, man. I can give you a million recommendations to go and try, bro.
Right on. Oh, I'm psyched, dude. Well, Dusty, thanks, man. I appreciate it and enjoy your week at home right now. And good luck with the trip in Thailand, man. Have a blast.
Yeah, dude. I'll shoot you some pics.
All right, that wraps things up with Dusty Millar from down in Australia, meeting up with us before brekkie down there in Adelaide. Dusty, just great to talk with you, mate. Is that terrible? That's terrible. I'm so sorry, Dusty. My apologies to Dusty and the entire continent of Australia, and also South Africa, because Dusty's from South Africa, too. Let's just all agree that I'm not going to try any more accents on this show until I do my ongoing Aiden Roberts ASMR in my monthly plugs. I'll reserve the accents for the plugs. A little bit loopy in the podcast/utility closet over here. But that's okay. We're weekend warriors. Sometimes we just don't sleep. I've got 2 kids who are sick. I'm not sick for once in my life, but I'm not sleeping all that much right now. That's all right. Anyway, Dusty, thanks, man. I hope you have a great trip to Thailand. And I hope you who are listening took a lot away from this conversation here with Dusty. Super, super thoughtful. Everything from yoga and mindfulness to shift work to beta on how to become more intentional with our training and our climbing, and even some specific protocols to take away there from his work with Neil Gresham. I really enjoyed this one, and if you're down in Dusty's neck of the woods and you want to get a tattoo, well, now you know who to call. So let me tell you a little bit about me now that we have wrapped up this Weekend Warrior episode, and I have the microphone and my podcast and absolutely no rules on what I can and cannot say, because I am the boss of this podcast, and so you can turn it off if you want, but I'm just going to talk. What's going on? Why do I have such a weird edge to me right now? I don't know. I did drink a Coke, which I almost rarely drink a Coke, but the aforementioned lack of sleep had me drinking a Coke before diving into work today. So yeah, maybe it's the caffeine talking. In any case, I got out climbing. Maybe I'm just still a little bit manic from going climbing. I got outside at the Red for the first time this year on a rope. I went out to get on the project, the Boulder project of Bulldog, and that thing was soaking wet. I bet that rock is wet 5 inches into it. It was so wet down. It kind of sits down on this creek and it's in the shade. And that's really good for when it's dry, but it has not been dry. We have gotten blasted with snow and ice. And so I think it's going to take a while for Bulldog to dry out, but I'm still psyched on it. I went down there and just put my hands on the soaking wet holds and reminded myself how much I like the features of that boulder. So that was a worthwhile pit stop. But then my friend and I moved over and got on some routes, and that was awesome. The rock felt great. It was an uncharacteristically warm February day in Kentucky. And if you live in Kentucky, I wouldn't recommend people take a trip out to Kentucky, to the Red in February. But if you live here, you get the odd, beautiful day. Some of my best days climbing, in fact, have been in February. I was just looking at my 5-year training and performance journal, and I was looking at right around this date a year ago, I had one of my better singular climbing days where I flashed my first 12A and also sent my first 12 in a day, a 12B in a day. So I sent 2 12s in a day. And that was really, really cool. With the same friend, in fact, Gray. Gray is my lucky February charm, I guess. But anyway, on this day, we went out and just kind of wanted to get some volume in and check in on the fitness. And I was happy to say that the fitness isn't terrible. I haven't been doing a lot of fitness training. I guess I'll talk more in the plug about what my exact training's looking like. But I've mostly just been climbing on the kilter board, and I'm deep into a strength training block with a strength cohort that I've formed within the Patreon community. Shout out cohort. You guys are awesome. Keeping me motivated and making sure I stay accountable to my workouts that I'm trying to do every week. And so anyway, I got on a rope and didn't have any expectations and performed quite well. Felt pretty chill and confident on the 11A and 11C quote-unquote warm-ups that we did, although I definitely got pumped. And then moved over to 12A, the bare metal teen, which I gave 12B when I finally sent it last year. Very proud send for me. But anyway, super long route, and I fell on that. I took a fall and a hang, and so yeah, the fitness isn't there yet, but I felt great just kind of moving around on routes for the first time in quite a while. And so I'm psyched. I'm psyched on getting fit and having a nice spring season, but also still very much focused on continuing to build the bouldering strength and hopefully get some nice conditions on Bulldog and elsewhere, some other boulders around here. And then also some maybe shorter, punchier routes on ropes this spring season. So yeah, that was fun. And man, the waterfalls were flowing and there was ice formations all around. It was really, really cool. But it smelled like spring. And depending on where you're at, I guess where Dusty's at, they'll be working their way towards fall. We are working our way towards spring in the Northern Hemisphere. And it just feels good. After a pretty long gray winter, I'm starting to see some of our hyacinth and tulip bulbs starting to poke up through the earth around our house here, buds on trees. Pretty soon, everything's going to be bursting into color. I'm so psyched for that. And hey, if any of you all are planning trips out to the Red this spring, hit me up. Maybe we can cross paths. You can connect with me on Instagram or on Patreon. We've got a very active patron community. There's a free tier, and then there's also some paid tiers. And I certainly appreciate it if you do have the funds to be able to join up as a member. It really helps me to keep this thing going. A lot of the sponsors from last year weren't able to come aboard in the same capacity this year. A lot of outdoor brands, their marketing budgets have been heavily trimmed. I've heard this from other podcaster friends and athletes and people in the outdoor industry. And so, yeah, it's been a little bit tougher to just kind of keep things going over here. And so I'm very, very thankful for the Patreon community. And if you want to check that out, there's a 7-day free trial, or you could just join up for a month or two, help me pay some bills, and then, check out all the bonus content we have over there. Over 150 hours of bonus content and pro clinics with the absolute biggest names in the sport. I do think it will help you to be a better climber and probably offer up a bunch of extra entertainment for when you've got a long drive, or, you're just doing a bunch of climbing laps and you want to zone out. to my melodic, nasally Michigander voice. I am here for you like you're here for me. So thanks for checking out Patreon if you can. And thank you also for supporting the sponsors of The Struggle. Swing over to thestruggleclimbingshow.com/deals to check out all of the insane deals that you as a Struggle listener have access to with the brands that support The Struggle. Shout out to the Honnold Foundation for keeping this podcast carbon neutral since day one. And I'd also like to shout out Glenn and Haley and Philippa for helping me to make these shows each week. And lastly, and most importantly, you, my dear, awesome Crusher Weekend Warrior, you're freaking rad. Look at you, just like getting after it in whatever way that you can. Let's just keep doing it. Let's keep supporting each other. I love this community so much. I love you, and I will see you next week.